Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is having an amazing Easter Sunday. I know I am, even though I'm recording this on Saturday, but I'm manifesting it. In front of me today, I have a tier list. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. We have another tier list. This is going to be my pre-draft NFL tier list. As you could see, I'm very happy with the categories. We have certified dogs, can win one playoff game, but not two. It's a very important distinction. Coin flip playoff teams, teams that are dangerously mid, teams that are bad but fun, teams that are bad but scouting for the 2025 draft, and then a team or teams that we need to banish to the XFL. I'm going to go ahead and get the list started exactly how it is in front of me. No particular alphabetical or divisional order. And I'm just going to give a quick reason for each team. You guys have seen tier list videos. Let's get right into it. The Saints are bad and 2025 draft scouting. They're in financial hell right now. They don't have any, I guess, fun players. They don't have any superstars. They don't have any young guys that are going to be really, really good, with the exception of like Chris Olave. If you're a Saints fan, shit, good luck. I don't know what to tell you. The Dolphins are definitely a team that can win one playoff game, but not two. I hate to say it, Tua Tagovailoa is not getting you to the AFC Championship game, but they could sneak out a win in the playoffs. They could. They're dangerous enough. They are a high-powered offense. They are having some cap troubles this year, which I think is going to limit them in the future a little bit. They have to make a decision on Tua sooner rather than later. But as of right now, this team could win a playoff game, a being singular. Now let's go to the Baltimore Ravens. No surprise, they're certified dogs. They were a lot of people's Super Bowl pick for the majority of the year, and without a historic sabotage job by Todd Monken, they might be the defending champs right now. They really would. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Lamar is excellent. The offense is really good. The defense is really, really good. I know they lost Mike McDonald, but I still think that they're going to be a good unit regardless. I would expect them to win their division, and I would also expect them to make a deep playoff run, even though their division is difficult because another team in their division, the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I would probably, under most circumstances, put a team like the Bengals in can win one playoff game but not two category. However, the Bengals play really good football when they get in the playoffs. They play really, really good football. They've played the Chiefs really, really close. They've actually beaten the Chiefs in Arrowhead, which nobody has done. Patrick Mahomes is unbeaten in AFC Championship games, not against Joe Burrow or Tom Brady. They can get it done in January. They really can, and that is a flipping of the script of what the Bengals used to be. It used to be on under Andy Dalton and Marvin Lewis. They'd make the wild card. They'd have a good year. They'd go 10-6, and then the playoffs hit, and they shit the bed. Not these Bengals. Not Zach Taylor. Not Joe Burrow. Not Jamar Chase. These guys are dangerous when it gets to the playoffs. So I would be naive to say that they can only win one playoff game when I've seen under this regime and this quarterback them do more than that. Now let's get to the Denver Broncos. They are also going to be really, really bad. I really am going to debate putting them in banished to XFL category. I might talk myself out of it just because I think Sean Payton is somewhat of a legit coach, although he is rapidly declining in my head. Like, he's been kind of a piece of shit during his tenure as Broncos head coach. I will say. So he's slowly losing some of my respect, but he is a legit head coach. They what is the plan at quarterback right now? What are they? They're gonna be in a really, really good division that got better. It is going to be a rough year for the Denver Broncos. I will not lie to you. They're going to be paying Russell Wilson, what is it, $85 million in dead money, which is awesome. So, yeah, needless to say, Broncos, they are going to be looking forward to the 2025 draft. They know that 2024 is absolutely not their year. And I think that can also be said about the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants are going to be at the top of this tier. By the way, they are in chronological order within the tiers. But the New York Giants, I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, Daniel Jones is not the guy. They have pick 6. I kind of doubt they go quarterback. If we get to the draft and they do take a quarterback, let's say they take like a J.J. McCarthy, or God forbid they get Drake May, which I think would be really good for them. They would move up into bad but fun. But right now, it's like you got Daniel Jones. You don't have a stud receiver. You lost Saquon Barkley in free agency. Their defense will be fun. I will say their defense will be quite intriguing with Thibodeau and Brian Burns and Lawrence in the middle. That D-line will be fun, but I really I don't want to watch the Giants offense at all. To me, that's not fun. watching the Giants offense, without Saquon Barkley. I think Darren Waller's going to retire as well. So your two best offensive players are gone. Ugh, it's not going to be a fun year in New York. But hey, at least I got the Mets. Moving on from that joke. The Vikings, I think the Vikings are a good example of a team that'll be bad, but they'll be fun. You're not ever going to be unwatchable when you have Justin Jefferson, when you have Jordan Addison. Those guys are really, really good. More so Justin Jefferson, obviously, but those guys are really, really good. Now, I also think that the Vikings are in a spot to pick a quarterback because they traded it up into the first round again. I think they're going to package those two firsts to move up for a quarterback. Is it a bit unfair for me to preemptively assume that the Vikings are going to get a quarterback and to make themselves more fun, and the Giants won't? Yes and no. I would still say that even if the Vikings don't take a quarterback, they're still a fun team because of Justin Jefferson, because of Jordan Addison. Whereas the Giants, I think that's the one thing that could make them fun. There's a difference, right? The Vikings would be even more fun with like a Drake May, Michael Penix, whoever you want to say, right? But it'll be interesting. The Giants, I just think, are a snooze fest right now. Let's go to the Rams, a team in the division. Now, they had kind of a surprise year last year. Puka Nacua came out of nowhere and was just amazing. Matthew Stafford had, a bounce back year from what he had in 2022. I still think they're a coin flip playoff team, right? Pretty much everything went well for them, and, they barely kind of squeaked into the playoffs, and they didn't win a playoff game against the Detroit Lions. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna say like Aaron Donald isn't a huge loss in the middle of their defensive line. Raheem Morris isn't a huge loss at defensive coordinator. They're really banking on Matthew Stafford at 36 to have another fully healthy year. Cooper Kupp hopefully to bounce back from his last couple of years of having injuries. It'll be interesting. Now I will say they beefed up the O-line, which is very good. That O-line is quite sexy right now. But to me, they're not a very talented team. They're well coached as shit, that's for sure. But they're a coin flip playoff team. I would not be surprised if they go 8-9. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 10-7. Kind of in that range. Like I said, kind of a coin flip. The Buccaneers are gonna kind of fall in that category as well. I'll put them behind the Rams just because they're not coached as well as the Rams are. And I trust healthy Matthew Stafford over Baker Mayfield every day of the week and twice on Sundays. They're kind of like the Buccaneers are kind of like the team that really benefited the most from a shitty division. Like they won their division last year, but it was like who else is going to win? The Falcons, the Saints, definitely wasn't the Panthers. But I think the Falcons throughout their moves in the offseason have put themselves above the Buccaneers. They have a better quarterback. They probably now have a better coach. They definitely sure as shit have better weapons. So it's interesting. I've been called a Baker Mayfield hater, and I really don't want to come off as a Baker Mayfield hater. I'm proud of him. He had a great year. He deserved his money. Like, good job. But to me, this Bucs team got older, not so much better. Now, they retained Antoine Winfield on the franchise tag. They re-signed Mike Evans. Like I said, they re-signed Baker Mayfield. So this feels like largely the same team, but for them to have kind of stayed in place and the Falcons to have leapfrogged them, I just don't know if this team's a playoff team, unfortunately. The Detroit Lions, I do think the Lions can win a playoff game. Probably not two. Listen, I know they won 2 last year. I know that it was really fun for them. But let's be honest, the two teams I just talked about, the Rams and the Buccaneers, that's a pretty cake playoff schedule. I'm just going to be honest. And shout out to the Lions. They did it. They were great. But I doubt everything breaks as perfectly as it did last year for them. And Dan Campbell, I mean, if he is going to ruin another playoff game, my God. Again, is it hypocritical for me to say that a team that was a few plays away from the Super Bowl can only win a playoff game? Maybe. Maybe, I eat shit and the Lions are in the Super Bowl. That doesn't sound real saying out loud, but maybe I eat shit. But for me, and I am gonna do Lions fans a favor. I'll put them above the Miami Dolphins just because I have seen the Lions be successful in the playoffs. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I see more than one playoff win in Detroit this upcoming year. Let's talk about the Bears. The Bears are kind of dangerously mid. Now, to me, that's a good thing for them specifically. For most teams, it wouldn't be. For them specifically, it's going to be a good thing. I'm a huge Caleb Williams believer. I really am. I'm a huge Caleb Williams believer. But I don't think the Bears are going to be very good next year. listen, their division is now pretty good. Green Bay and Detroit are legit. The Vikings could also have a young quarterback that could be really good, and they have a great head coach. I think the Bears easily have the fourth best coach in their division. Again, rookie quarterback, you can't expect everything in year one, right? You got to let the guy marinate, get him some time to get under, you know, get acclimated to the NFL, right? Every rookie quarterback's not Justin Herbert, who's thrown for 4,500 yards out the gate, right? That's not realistic. The defense, the defensive line is weak outside of Montez Sweat. So, and again, do they have the draft capital to improve their shit like that? Yes, this is why this is the pre-draft NFL Power Rankings. But I'll put them in mid for right now, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing for the Bears. I think they win 8, maybe 9 games next year, and then, they build off that in the future. The 49ers clearly are dogs. I'm going to put them right behind the Ravens. Hey, I understand that their little contract situation, rumors going around about Brandon Ayuk, that is concerning, and that probably wouldn't be enough to bump them down a tier, but it would definitely make me less confident in them. But you have Kyle Shanahan. You have Brock Purdy, who you're paying jack shit for at least another year. McCaffrey is McCaffrey. You still got Trent Williams kicking it. Kittle, Debo, Juszczyk. I mean, those guys are still on the team. Obviously, Eric Armstead is a big loss. I think it's more of a team morale loss than it is like production-wise loss, which is big in its own right. So the 49ers, I would say, are definitely declining a little bit. But again, they were so high, even a slight decline is still enough to get them in the top tier of this list. The Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to put them a team below the Detroit Lions. Now, I'm kind of worried about the Eagles, truthfully. Like, I really hope these coordinators were the problem last year. And bringing in Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore, like, if that's the real issue, I hope. But Jalen Hurts regressed last year. The defense was awful. I mean, their front four is really good. Their linebackers and their safeties and corners were bad last year. I think that's going to be a significant portion of their draft capital dedicated to that position. But I need to see major improvements on defense. I need to see some linebackers, safeties, corners. Saquon is nice. Saquon's, he's a little frosting on top of the cake. I wouldn't say he's like an essential part of a franchise, but he's a nice luxury to have. So I think you'll be better. I do think you can go back to your 2022 dominance a little bit and win a playoff game, maybe even win your division. Forgive me if I'm not picking them to go to the Super Bowl just yet. The Raiders are going to be in the bad but fun category. Now, they're not fun in like the traditional sense of like, oh, they've got some young players. This guy who was a first-round pick last year, he's going to be really good. No. What's fun about the Raiders is that they're finally getting back to Raider football. I've said this before. I don't necessarily think that Antonio Pierce is the greatest head coach to ever live. Sorry. But what I do think is that he is going to bring back the identity of the Raiders. Take shit from nobody, maybe cheat a little bit, be tough SOBs. I like that philosophy for the Raiders. I do. Like back to the Al Davis, 70s Raiders with Blitnikoff and Stabler and Upshaw and all those guys. Like, that is classic Raiders. So in that aspect, they'll be fun. Christian Wilkins is also a beast on the defensive line. That defensive line is going to be really, really special. That's even without talking about Tyree Wilson. But they are most definitely going to be bad. They are most definitely going to be bad. You're going into the year with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Sorry. Real ball knowers know that Gardner Minshew was completely carried by Shane Steichen last year. So not much hope. And again, you're in a division with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. So just saying, they're going to be bad, but I do believe they will be fun. The Packers, I'm going to put at the top tier of coin flip playoff teams. Now, think of this coin more as like the two-faced coin, where you kind of know where it's going to go. You're just waiting to see it happen. I do think the Packers will be a wild card team. I believe Detroit wins the division. I do believe the Packers will be probably the 5th or the 6th seed in the NFC. I think Jordan Love is going to build off of a phenomenal year last year. The defense will hopefully get much better. And honestly, I think, maybe you could add some veterans. They're a really young team. I think they could use some veteran leadership as well. But I like the direction that this Green Bay team is heading. I think, again, they're... you know what? Yeah, I think that maybe they can win a playoff game. They did it last year. Why not? Why couldn't they do it this year? I don't know what I'm thinking, putting them in coin flip. They can win a playoff game. Again, I don't see them, like, going to the Super Bowl. I think that we're maybe a year or two premature on that, but I definitely think they can win a playoff game like they did last year. The Commanders, shit, man, they're just planning ahead for the 2025 draft. I don't know what the fuck they did in free agency. Like they just spent money because they had to. I liken it to like your mom gives you like $15 in the Dollar Tree, and she's like, go crazy, and you buy candy that you've never fucking eaten in your life, like black licorice or whatever, or those like really weird like Reese's cup flavors, and you buy it because you got $15, might as well, and then you take it home and you eat it, and you're like, oh, this is not good. Like, what are they doing spending 11 million on Austin Eckler, right? Like, with some of these contracts, it's like, bro, you just had money. Like, I guess spend it, go crazy, but it wasn't used effectively to make the team better. That's my point. That's my long way of saying that happened to the Commanders. You have the second overall pick, so by definition, you should be bad but fun. But I have a feeling this team is going to manage to be boring, no matter what they do at pick 2 overall. Which, if you had to ask me right now, would be Jaden Daniels. But they're no, I'm not. I would not like watch the Redskins. Oh, I would not watch the Commanders on Sunday Ticket if they were on. Let's just say that. The Cardinals, they'll be bad but fun. They will be. They're going to be better than the Raiders. Probably not as good as the Vikings. Kyler Murray's a fun quarterback to watch. He is, and all signs are pointing to the fact that they are going to be able to take Marvin Harrison Jr., who is the best receiver prospect, in my opinion, in quite some time. That alone is enough to say that they're fun. Their defense will also be, I think, so comically bad that it will be entertaining. It'll be like a fantastic football folly. I think the Cardinals will be fun. They're not going to be good. They're not going to be a playoff team. But Kyler's fun. Marvin could be fun. Trey McBride could be fun. Who doesn't like James Conner? They'll be a fun team to watch. Up next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They will be, they'll be mid. There's just so much mid about this team. Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, like, both are low-tier starter, high-tier backups at this point in their career. Like, the Steelers are going to manage to have one of the worst starters, but one of the best backups, whoever is starting or backing up, which is actually really funny. Their defense will be good. It always is good. But, like, they have one capable receiver right now. I think Najee Harris is one of the most overrated running backs. He's a 3.8 yards per carry machine. Jaylen Warren he's okay, but he's nothing special. I kind of doubt that Pittsburgh is going to be fun to watch this year. They're not going to be particularly good. They're going to continue the tradition of going 9-8. Mike Tomlin will, extend his streak of no losing seasons, and it will result in another season of no playoff wins. That's just my opinion. Buffalo Bills, listen, I'm going to put them on at the end of certified dogs because their roster construction right now is crumbling just a little bit, just a little bit, but they have Josh Allen. And, like, I know it's like, oh, well, they only have one guy. But when you have a guy like Josh Allen, a top 2 quarterback in the NFL, you can overcome a lot of shit, right? He just does whatever. When he's on, dude, he is amazing. And he can put the Bills in position to win every single game. Again, are they going to go to the Super Bowl? Probably not. Are they going to win a playoff game and probably be right there in their second playoff game? I think that's exactly what happens. Again, if they run into, like, the Bengals or the Chiefs or whoever, it'll be close. They probably won't win, though. But they have the ability to do so, which is why I'm going to put them in certified dogs. The Atlanta Falcons, I'm going to put at the top of coin flip playoff teams. Again, I think that they are probably, well, I'm sure they are the betting favorite to win their division right now. They would be my favorite as well to do so. I think they have a pretty good shot of doing that. Kirk Cousins is a massive upgrade. At the quarterback position, and they're really talented. They are really talented. Raheem Morris is a legit head coach. He's going to stabilize that defense, especially I think that front seven that struggled at times last year. I think they're going to win the NFC South. I don't think there's much about it. Another team I would put in coin flip. I'll put my Seahawks at the end here. Listen, I don't want to talk too much about it to make myself depressed, but 2024 is not their year to be good. 2025 is probably when you open up the contention window, but this year they're dealing with a lot of bad contracts. They're going to eat some cap. They're going to do, some major roster overhaul. I mean, they signed a lot of guys to one-year deals just to actually fill gaps because right now we don't have, like, playable guards. We don't have playable safeties. We need linebackers. I mean, we have major, major, major holes on this team. And I think Mike McDonald inherited this job knowing it is not a one-year fix, right? To make the Seahawks into legit contenders the way he sees fit, it's not going to be overnight. And I can accept that, but unfortunately that means that I don't think we're going to be very good this year. Patriots are going to be bad, and 2025 draft scouting. I'll put the Saints above it, actually. Yeah, that's probably the order. I mean, they'll probably take a quarterback at 3, whether that be Drake May or Jaden Daniels. But dude, they're so boring. Like they have nobody. They have no star power whatsoever. It is quite sad. The Browns, I think the Browns will be dangerously mid. They'll be better than the Bears probably. But like, dude, like Deshaun Watson has a $300 billion cap hit. And he's ass. Their defense is going to be really good. Don't get me wrong. They're like Myles Garrett is a dog. But dude, like Deshaun Watson is just and they're just stuck. Like they're just so stuck with Deshaun Watson. It's actually quite sad, but nothing really they can do about it. The Texans are definitely a team that can win a playoff game. I definitely agree with that. I'm gonna put them slightly above the Eagles. C.J. Stroud's that guy. Will Anderson is that guy. They got Danielle Hunter, who I think is an excellent complementary piece for a team that could spend money. Joe Mixon, while I'm not the biggest Joe Mixon fan in the world, he's definitely an upgrade over Devin Singletary and Dameon Pierce. Get another receiver in the draft, and you are really, really cooking with gas, I think, on this team. You are really, really cooking. D'Amico Ryans will help that defense to be even better. And, damn, like, they're going to make some noise. I know they won a playoff game last year. I think they can do the same this year. The Texans are going to be good in 2025. I promise you that. I'm not going to spend any time talking about this team. They're the back-to-back champs. You guys get it. I don't need to elaborate. The Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to put them actually right above the Dolphins. And everything I said about the Dolphins exists for the Dallas Cowboys. You are not going to the NFC Championship game with the Cowboys. You are not going to the Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys. Will they be very good in the regular season? Will their stats and everything look very impressive? Yes, they will. When the playoffs come, they're a completely different team. They will probably crumble under the pressure of whoever they play. Hopefully, they win their division, so at least they get a home playoff game. If not, they are not going to go on the road and beat a team. Maybe they beat like the Falcons if they're the 5 seed and the Falcons are the 4 seed, or maybe they dunk on the 6 seed or whatever. But they are not making it out of the divisional round of the playoffs. Absolutely not. There's no way. Now the reason I put them above the Dolphins, I like Dak a little bit more than I like Tua. Truthfully, both have elite talent everywhere, but they're just not gonna be able to get it done in the playoffs. The Chargers, they are going to be mid as well. That is no disrespect to Justin Herbert. He is phenomenal. But the roster, it needs overhauling, right? They're in cap hell right now. They don't have pieces. They're going to get better during the draft. Again, this is the pre-draft tier list ranking. But they're going to get better. But right now, they just don't have pieces to be anywhere competitive in the NFL. The Jets, they are also a coin flip playoff team. I'll put them above the Rams just because I think that, I mean, they're kind of loaded, truthfully. Like, they are kind of loaded. But on the other hand, like, it's the Jets, And I don't know if it's just me, but I'm a little worried about Aaron Rodgers. Definitely, like, he was age 39. He had his worst season of his career by far. Age 40, fucking blows his Achilles. Now he's 41, and we're just banking on him to be like the Jets. It's quite a dangerous plan. I won't lie. Now, it could work. They could make the playoffs. I don't think they win their division because they're on the same division as the Bills and the Dolphins, who I think are probably better, especially the Bills with Josh Allen. But it'll be interesting to see how the Jets are. I think, again, coin flip playoff team. Maybe they make it, maybe they don't. The Panthers, that's the reason I created this category. We're going to banish them to the XFL, bro. Like, they're trash. They don't have their first-round pick. I mean, what do you want to say? Their best player, Brian Burns, they traded away. They're talking about trading away Derek Brown. Their best offensive weapon is Deontay Johnson, who is a decent receiver, but he's no number one, in my opinion. Banish them to the XFL. They should be playing right now. They should probably go be playing for their old quarterback, Matt Corral. Now, the Titans, I think, are going to be bad but fun. In a weird way, I think the Titans are kind of fun because Will Levis is just interesting, to say the least. Tajay Spears, Tony Pollard is a good running back core. Um, Again, Brian Callahan, I'm interested to see what he does. I am. Like, they'll be a fun team to watch. I don't think they're going to be as boring as normal, but they will be fun. It'll be interesting to see the new regime in Tennessee. And then I think both the Colts and the Jaguars are fringe playoff teams. I will put the Jaguars above the Colts. The Colts, it's pretty simple. Is Anthony Richardson good? Yes, you have a chance. If not, they don't have a chance. The Jags, the question is Trevor Lawrence the guy? He's shown flashes that he's the guy, but he's also been very inconsistent in certain spots. So if he can prove that he is like the franchise guy, the guy that you're going to give, $200 million to, perfect. You guys could be good, might even win the division. If not, yikes. So that's my tier list. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Again, I hope you guys had a great Easter Sunday. And I want to say, he is risen. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.